Hello, and welcome to the newest episode of Borderline Podcast Disorder. Thank you so much for listening to me. For I don't know however you've been listening to. If it's the first time you're listening to this podcast, thank you for tuning in. Although it looks like numbers wise, we're doing quite well. We're doing all good. Um, yeah, very happy, very grateful to anyone who's taking the time to support this, whether by being a guest, listening, or anything else. Really, um, I've had a pretty again still very busy at the moment. I've got a lot going on, but I'm good. I'm happy. I'm content. Not happy, but content. I'm I've been resting for over the weekend, and I'm looking forward to the next few weeks, which are going to be quite busy. I've got a few shows coming up now. Since January, comedy wise, it's been quiet. What's the word? Not busy, basically. I didn't have much going on. Some because I didn't. I thought I would have a medical, a small surgery, and then I would have had to take some time off. And then the other part because there actually wasn't much going on in the comedy circuit, and I also kind of fell behind on the admin work, and I naturally, I feel like previously I would have felt uh, horrible about it. I would felt very guilty. I would have felt bad. Now I kind of just feel like it's just the way it is. I've been busy with writing. I've been busy with some other opportunities that are not stand-up comedy related, and I've also been busy with a part-time day job that I've got, and also uni. So yeah, it's been a lot, and I feel like I've still managed to be quite consistent throughout. I've managed to work. I've also managed to stay active with the gym. Worked out a few days a week. I've been recovering from the cold that I have over Christmas, which was like a month ago now. And yeah, it's already almost a month over in 2026. Who would have thought? It's going. I mean, I kind of thought, and I think I'm sure many of you realize that time flies. Not necessarily when you're having fun. That's something that I've noticed a few years ago. But look, either way, I think that's enough for me to start with. I will let you enjoy my episode with a friend of mine, a friend of the podcast. It was lovely to get to speak with him again. This podcast episode was meant to come a while back. Sadly, didn't happen then, which was before Christmas. Yeah, so a while back, but here it is now. And look, Stephen Catling is a great comedian, lovely human being, and we had a good chat. We had a great conversation. We talked about what we've been. Actually, I think he was like the second or the third guest in this podcast ever. So, just like Nancy, we're kind of like going back to just catching up with people who've been around since the beginning. So enjoy. I will catch you at the other end. Here's the episode with Steven. Right, Steven, how's it going? So nice to see you again.
Nice to
It's
see
been a
you.
while.
It's been what was it? It was in Birmingham in, was it
Yes,
May
the
or
the
April?
spirit of comedy.
Yeah.
No, was it May? No, it was August.
No, it wasn't August because August is Edinburgh, so it might have been June
July.
or
It must have
July.
been July then.
Mm,
July.
yeah, because they did the semi-finals, I think, in August, and then the final was September or October.
Yeah, and then Valeria did basically the Ricky Gervais show happened a couple of weeks ago.
Was it who was it that won it? Was it Roman that won it?
No, Valeria Vulpe.
Oh, okay. Because I know. Roman. I think Roman got third, didn't he?
I don't know. I haven't paid any. I think I got obviously I love Valeria and I was very happy for her
Mm,
and I followed her
mm.
like story but anything else I was like I don't want to see it because I don't want to get upset about it.
I'm going to have a quick look because
That's fine. Don't worry.
winner. Yeah, you're right. It's Valeria. And yeah, okay. So it was Valeria. Elvedas came second, and then Donal Vaughan and Roman Harrison came joint third. So yeah,
There we
all
go.
good comics. I don't know Valeria personally, but I know the other three. So yeah, they're uh, all good people. But yeah, some. If you're saying you weren't paying attention, I completely forgot who actually won it and went, "Oh yeah, it was Roman." It's like, no, he came third.
But it's good because you kind of you got back pretty quickly. You're like, oh no, okay, fine, he was third.
Mm,
But anyway, yes, that's the thing. I remember and I've seen like Valeria's stories and everything, and we like stay in touch and we speak about like other
mm,
stuff sometimes, but otherwise.
mm,
But I also again like I feel like the last few weeks, and I don't know what it's been like for you
mm.
this fall, but like to me, I've barely had time to. I've been running around places that I don't even like. I'm usually on social media posting stuff. I don't actually have the time to sit down and scroll through things.
I mean, I think partly because I'm in the north now, and I'm on a lot of public transport. Between trying to read books, I do scroll a lot through social media anyway, because I do like to keep my eyes out for posts on any gigs that
Mm.
promoters are offering on the forums. And like, hey, we've got an opening or closing spot on these dates. Who wants in? Let us know. But equally, I obviously, because a lot of the people I follow on social media are comedians, if they're not cosplayers or hot goth women, uh, 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 or voice actors or actors or some other. Very rarely people that aren't. There's so many non. Anyway, so obviously I do sort of keep tabs on a lot of announcements of things. So I do eventually hear like who wins or if anyone's won something, or who's gigging where. So no, I do pay attention to that. Usually because it then helps inform me where I should try and gig as well. So it's like, oh,
Fair
that
enough.
night I've never heard of. Gonna figure out who books that. And give
That's
them.
fair enough. I feel
And
like I've been slugging, not slugging off because again I've generally been busy with like other things,
which is
but I've
ironic.
actually been.
Yeah,
Sorry, go on.
which no, which is ironic because I thought I was the slug for this year.
I think so because I think by and it, but I also feel like it's not even just work ethic because I'd say obviously you
Mm,
have a very strong work ethic, and for a
mm,
while I've been very angry or like upset with myself
mm,
and thinking that I don't have the said work ethic. But then I just realized, or it's been pointed out to me by other people around me that it's just the fact that I had to split my attention between I'm doing a bachelor's in mechanical engineering
mm.
and
That's really good.
I had a couple of exams coming up which I had to get ready for, which is quite important because
Mm,
I want to do something with that degree,
mm,
and then I've also had to go between the day job,
mm,
some projects with anyway. All I'm saying is, it just happened that I had to like split my attention from just focusing on stand up and comedy,
yeah.
and
So
it's been interesting.
no, that's fair. And like no, I get it because when I did my masters in psychology, I had to uh, do less comedy. So I get it, and that. So yeah, I think you're just possibly being too harsh because you've had on yourself because you've had to focus on other energies, and that's the worst degree. And also just remind me because you said mechanical engineering, and then because the other night I was watching it, I was at a gig in Manchester, and same comic says two things about himself. He says he's a mechanical. He's got like a master's in chemical engineering, and then later in the set he says like, "Oh, but I'm a fucking idiot." I'm like, "No, you're fucking not." That you can't have a master's in a very hard science degree like that
And also be an idiot.
and also be an idiot. I mean, what you're probably meant to say is, I'm daft, or I'm a bit naive, or I have a lack of social skills, or there's many. I mean, it's also just the whole people. Intelligence is quite diverse, and people have a lot of different forms of intelligence. Like my middle sister, for example, she's quite a people person. In fact, if you met her, she's like the anti-me, in that she's extroverted and quite bubbly rather than introverted and depressed. But she's not stupid. She might not know a lot of the scientific knowledge or various other academic things that I might know, but she's good with languages. Like she can still speak French pretty fluently. I can't. I'm terrible with languages. So, probably some might say I struggle with English. But like my sister, excellent with excellent linguistic mind, and for languages, did really well with A levels in like for English literature and that, which wasn't for me. Like I was more the doing the sciences and philosophy. But yeah, asked me to analyze a poem, and it's like, why did the writer make the sky blue in this scene? It's like, because it's blue.
You know what? Actually, I want to ask you this because I want to see your perspective on it. Because I feel like, to me, philosophy, which is actually something that I'm also quite curious on, because besides of the mechanical engineering, I love history, and I'm actually trying to write something history related. Again, more like a passion project. It's just things that I'm like picking up here and there. But anyway, the reason why I mentioned this is because you talked about science and philosophy, and it feels like again, philosophy it's very it involves some creativity, or like you were talking, or at least actually I think, I'll take it back, because it was more about the poetry side, because why did the poet say that the sky was blue? But then you also have a science degree, or like a science background, where everything is pretty like factual based, very again, like you said, you said it's blue because I can see it being blue.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's the sort of, with the whole sky blue, it's the whole, pathetic fallacy of which is the color of the environment is meant to reflect the scene, sort of thing. My criticism more of that was the obsession I found with my English literature teachers trying to make us analyze things that are not significant, like essentially an over-analysis, which is ironic that I would get annoyed with over-analysis when I over-analyze anyway.
You see, that was actually my question. That's why I was trying to ask, which is like, how do you feel when you have to balance those things, where in one hand you're passionate, or you do something that requires you to perhaps not overanalyze, but analyze a lot,
Mm.
and then you have this other thing where you can notice the thing that you're required to say overanalyze or analyze a lot, but
Mm.
yet to you it seems like, you know what, this is not, again, this is pretty much a waste of time. Like, this is a fairly simple thing that we should have been done with 20 minutes ago, sort of thing.
I mean, depends what that thing is. Is it an administrative thing? Like, is this like this meeting could have just been an email sort of thing? Because
Yeah, I
I
guess that
definitely
as
feel
well.
that.
Yeah.
I feel that a lot. Or this interview could have been done on a Zoom call. Why did you need me to come in physically? We have the technology. No one has to go anywhere. But like, no, we want to meet you in person. Like, you are meeting in person through a screen. Like, it's not a live performance. Um,
Yeah,
why
which
not?
I can see that. Sorry, go on. Please continue.
Why not make everything easier for the candidate as possible, so that they're not reaching their neck out? Because some people, it could be from across the country. Like, it's not the same as someone might be based in London, but the other might be based in Manchester, and you're saying, "Oh yeah, come 8 o'clock in the morning." It's like, it's not the same.
I feel like, with stuff like this, I feel like at least, or at least if I think about it in a way, you should be at a much higher level where it's basically, say, you narrowed it down between the last row of candidates,
Hmm.
and you'd actually offer compensation of some sort for this. Because otherwise,
Hmm.
I don't see, like, I don't see it. If you have, say, 200, or like you're gonna do 50, okay, yeah, you're gonna do 50 interviews for one role, and then to require 50 people to travel from all these places, you know,
Which I will say, some places obviously do that. Uh,
yeah.
the NHS absolutely does not do that for any candidate. Um, they're like, no. I'm like,
Wait, no, as in they do not offer the reimbursement thing,
no.
or do they not? But they require you to go in person.
I mean, these days, it seems to be half the interviews I might get will be on a Zoom call, and then the other half are going to be in. They want it in person, and it isn't related to location. So
Mm.
I could have an interview. So, for example, in recent applications, I've had physical interviews in Sheffield, and I've had Zoom calls in Sheffield, despite also living in Sheffield. And likewise, I've had invites for interviews, which are, can you physically come to London? And or do you mind if we interview online? The role's based in Manchester. Sort of, there is no rhyme or reason. It's very much, I think, based on recruitment and department
Right.
preference. Um, but it's like that whole, the people, there's that, there's that little subsection of society that are really against hybrid working, despite the fact that it is actually better, um, full stop, for the employees. But some employers, they just want to, they think that they want to just be in control and be able to watch people like a hawk. That's which it's one of the rare cases where I actually agree with some of the crap that's coming out of people on LinkedIn's mouth, or what they're typing, because they say a lot of positive stuff that I'm like,
I mean, it's amazing, like, the fact that you can find a lesson in anything.
hmm,
It's one of the most wonderful things, and I'm using quotation
hmm.
uh, marks here. Is one of the most beautiful thing about LinkedIn, that you find people who find a lesson in anything. You
Yeah, I
can
was going to
have,
say, like, I did not think you would agree with that.
No,
Um,
no, no. I think it's beautiful. You can stumble down the stairs, but that is the lesson.
but what
You
did we
can
learn?
walk.
What did we learn?
Yeah,
What were your? Can you write that in a star program? What was the situation? What was the task? How did you act? What was the results? Could you reflect upon that, please? Um,
yeah. It's fascinating. I genuinely, I think sometimes now I don't even go through Reddit that much. I just go on LinkedIn if I want to read weird stuff.
um,
But anyway, sorry. We
oh
can we
no,
can.
you mentioned Reddit as well. Like, um, I don't know what, I think I must have Googled something about reform, um, because we don't like them, and I wanted to know, okay, what have they done now? Because,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, the sort of thing, right? Because of the kind of things I follow on social media, obviously I have a lot of comedy and creative stuff and general things I like that. But then obviously, and equally history and other things. But then obviously, I am very much a left wing political comedian, which is not not really a unique thing. It's actually quite common. Um, um, it's actually rare when you meet a right wing one. It's like, oh, it's like meeting a leprechaun. Uh, but
Is it true?
is it true? And they're like, they're always after my jobs.
I mean, I
Um,
have seen, and this is the sorry to interrupt you, but I have seen this. It was quite funny where there was this thing of like the 100% of the comedians who appear on BBC, and it was like 90% the political views, and it was like 90% left wing, and 10% was just Jeff Norkoff. And I was like, and you know what? I was like, look, I feel very like politically homeless, and I felt like that for a couple of years. I have no inclinations whatsoever. I did find that meme particularly funny because I was like, this is hilarious. This is good.
I mean, it's a complicated thing,
Yeah, but
I,
anyway, you
I
were talking
feel.
about the going on Reddit. You're talking about searching reform. What happened?
Well, now unfortunately, Reddit thinks that I'm part is thinking I'm part of it. So it keeps saying, "Oh, here's another
Oh
thing
my
someone on
god!
the reform Reddit," and it's not a look. This isn't a look at what these idiots have done. Reddit. This is we are the idiots, and it's like, oh no, it's another the war on Christmas. We can't say Christmas trees. We have to say evergreen. Blah blah blah. Conspiracy against Christianity. Blah, blah, blah. Um, that
You
sort
know
of thing.
what? I find it fascinating because I get stuck actually between these algorithms myself, where sometimes you'd go in again because I'd go and like search something and it'd be like, oh, okay, right, so you like again you like left wing, and then oh, you like right wing. Here
So
it is, and then it's
it's
actually sorry,
what's
go on.
what I think what's the algorithm, because AI isn't smart, which is ironic with the word intelligence in, but the key word is artificial. Um,
Yeah,
it's gone, oh, you've reacted to this content of someone responding to someone saying, so usually it ends up like someone's done a stitch, and it's like stitches incoming. Um,
yeah.
if they're like, just to warn you, so in like you're hearing this like, what did I like? What, and then the next person appears and basically deconstructs and says, this is a problem with the right again, and or in that they're using these particular tactics, or this is where they've done this particular fallacy, or got their stats wrong, or have whether that's through ignorance, misunderstanding, um, etc., etc. And so there's a lot of and like other many other people who end up I can see could put comments in in these sort of posts like, "Oh, thank God!" And I thought I was on the wrong side of TikTok again. um, Because yeah, it happens, and then obviously um, it ends up fucking crawling onto your For You page in various social medias because it's like, oh, you showed interest in this, you must be interested in that. I'm like, you have done a
Yeah, like
logical leap there. It's like, okay, so I think let's look at it's like you like reading on serial killers. Here's here's a site about how to construct your own bunker and basement. Uh, how
it is the best type of rope you can use.
here's this book, How to Avoid the Police and Exploit their prejudices against their local community.
But I feel like, you know what, this is the thing which I find actually funny enough with the serial killers where, you know, because where people think that, oh, if you like this, then it might, because I with the algorithms actually as well, which is,
Mm,
oh, you're interested about like serial killer documentaries,
mm.
and then it's like, oh, let's get the Menendez brothers out of prison. I'm like, no, 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 no. I am interested with the idea, or like I'm interested with how, you know,
The
one's
brain
become,
works.
how one's not. Yeah, but I'm not like, I'm not going like, oh, you know what, you know who was a cool guy, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mm.
You know, like who is was a cool. This is where I find it quite. Again, it's interesting to perhaps just even see it from the, just like you said, from the For You, where he goes like, you know, oh, so you've watched again, you've watched a 5 minute YouTube video uh, on again, like, yeah, on the Menendez, you know,
Yeah.
thing, and then the next one would be, here is a petition you can sign to request the release of them. And I'm like, no, 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 I'm not, like, I'm not there. I'm only watching it in the respects of, I'm curious to see what the story is about. I'm not, you know.
I will say it is a little concerning for me sometimes that I find out that the women that I'm interested in often are, as in romantically, sexually, it is a common trope for them to probably also have a slight serial killer kink. And it's like, oh no.
It's funny 'cause, you know, like I've seen it before. Where have you seen that the L.A. There was a guy in L.A. who was like a serial killer, and apparently when he got caught, he used to get so many letters
Oh, yeah,
from
no.
women around America.
So I don't know about this particular case you're talking about, but I do know that various criminals, like serial killers and cult leaders in prisons, have received various levels of fan mail from the here's a letter to here's my used underwear. Um,
Yeah, stuff like that, which, you know, it makes you wonder, but still, you know, it's yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to shame them. As in, I'm
No,
not
no,
going
no.
to
It's not
shame.
about. Yeah, I genuinely do not care, but I do find, again, like it's interesting. That's what I find. I truly find it
Mm.
truly fascinating.
But yeah, obviously, yeah, it's that. Yeah, the algorithm can be really frustrating on that one. Um,
But yeah, coming back to the algorithm, that's definitely the case, and I feel I find it funny as well, and I'm actually glad that we got to talk about this, or to got, because I didn't, you know, sometimes I also feel, and I think for a while, I don't know about you, but which I'm quite curious, I would like to see your perspective, but
hmm.
you know, I used to for a while struggle with it and almost be scared about it and be like, oh my god, does my behavior look like the one of who's either like, you know, because I would either get like super like communist stuff or super, you know, like fascist, you know, like memes or articles or things, and I'm like, no, 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 I'm neither, you know. And then I struggle with this sort of like, does the internet think I am
One or the other.
one or the other? Is that how it works? Is that's where we're at?
I mean, I was thinking, what was the internet just saying? Oh, he's got an Eastern European name. He's one or the other. He's one or the other. He's not. He's gonna, but it won't be not neither.
Yeah, like whichever breaks him first.
Tankies for the win. Sorry, in no way will I ever endorse right-wing politics.
No, do not worry about it. I'm not either. That's
No,
what I'm
I
saying.
wasn't.
I do not.
Oh, I wasn't saying
Yeah.
you were.
All I'm saying is that even if you're like you watch one thing, it goes like it's either there or there. Like there is no in the middle. There is no and also sometimes, and I generally do sometimes, I just read stuff for fun. Like I genuinely, because I don't make my decisions based on one person or like what one article is saying. I like to read on stuff like that, and I like to even see the bias. I'm up all for it, because I'd like to say that I have a fair understanding and a fair knowledge to see where the bias is, and I know where to stop, or like what I take as a factual thing, what I take. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is I'm neither one or the other, but I do find it fascinating that when
The
you're
internet
going
tries
between
to.
algorithms, you're either going from
So-
one side or the other.
I think also the other thing that someone's pointed out recently in a video I saw, which is so this was the post that started was, and the stitch was it was a homosexual man who was saying we need to remove the T from LGBTQ, which is obviously a very minority opinion in the LGBT community. Like most people in that community are not transphobic, but there are a minority that will be in any given movement. There is a minority in the feminist movement that are TERFs, for example. But because they are the more controversial, social media kind of pushes them more forward because it creates more reaction. So basically what I'm saying is anyone with a balanced opinion is generally not going to get put on center stage, because it's like people are going to react.
It doesn't get the reaction that's going to go, I guess, viral, or it's not going to make anyone blow up in the comment section or something.
Yeah. No one's going to go viral for saying a reasonable thing.
Yeah, it's just sad actually. I don't know why I'm laughing, but I see the point that you're making.
It will either be something people. Well, actually, no. There's plenty of people that say reasonable things and it gets reactions, but that's from love. But in terms of the reaction that social media wants, it wants either extreme love, large amounts of love, or it wants extreme hatred.
So you're either fighting in the comment section, or you're just getting this, unwavering sort of a wave of support and like, oh my God, thank you for speaking up, stuff like this, right?
That was beautiful. This is like, here's a kitten doing a cute thing, because no one's going to react negatively to that. Everyone's going to be like, oh, that's really sweet. And then it's going to be a man punching a baby.
The opposite of a kitten.
Yeah, it's the man punching the baby, not so
Not
people
the
are going to
kitten punching
and
the
then
baby.
you'll get the argument between the anti-baby punching and the pro-baby punching, and
and obviously that's where the interest lies if you're the platform, because you want people to interact with it. So I get it. I do. Again, I still I wish there was, or I think there is. I generally think there is a middle way. I think we are, still like with technology and with social media being such a new thing, we are almost like this little sort of like lab rat phase, where we're getting to be tested up through a lot. So I think there will eventually be more stability to it. But now the question is, will we will we get there, or will we destroy each other before
Well,
before that time
this is
comes?
this is the problem that a lot of people point out. Despite the fact all this technological advancement, we as a species are not that much different from our caveman ancestors. Like we're still just up started monkeys. Because we have a primate brain. We think like primates because we are primates. Regardless of how people like maybe most of us tend not to throw poo at each other when we don't like something, but
Really?
most of us.
When did we stop that? I'm joking, Steve. I mean, I hope I'm joking.
No, I know you were joking. That being said, the amount of mudslinging in a parliament. Wait, what was it? Was it? Isn't it like a parliament of baboons or something?
What's that? I again, I'm not that
Parliament of baboons.
of baboons.
So there's like like how you get a herd of cattle,
A
or
herd of cattle,
a
yes.
pride of lions, or a murder of crows.
Yes.
I think, yeah. So it's a parliament of baboons.
No way. So a group of baboons together
Is a parliament.
It's called a parliament. Checks out.
I mean, oh wait, no. Something's just said it's rubbish. Parliament as a group. The internet has fucked me again.
I mean, maybe this is the time for us to get it started.
If enough people insist, it has to be a parliament of baboons. It has to be a parliament.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe that we are the ones who are, well, technically you, because you're the one who's said it first. But I'll endorse it. I'm behind it. I think we get a few more people in. It can become a trend.
I'm sure I can't. I'm glad I checked it out because I think it's one of those things that someone said and went, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." And I'm not.
You see, because that's what I thought. I was like, I'm surprised, but also it does check out.
I mean, it's fitting. I think, to be honest, it was not the 8 o'clock news. I think that got the phrase like for like a flange of gorillas or something. They just made it up. I can't remember what the word they used for what animal it was for flange, but they said flange or something, and then people went, "You know what? Let's make that a thing." So it's definitely.
I think it's happened before. There is what's the word when something has happened? There is the again. It has happened before. It's not like we would ask for something that's never been seen to just adapt a new word for a lot of baboons congregating.
Yeah.
Also known a parliament of baboons.
Because I think I recall it being on like on a QI episode. Ugh, this is stretching my mind. Look, I'm a man.
It's okay.
I am fallible. I might have a lot of knowledge, but sometimes I get things wrong.
That's okay. I do. I think once, maybe like a couple of years. Yeah, I know. A couple of years ago, I shared something from Babylon B, and I had like 2 or 3 people messaged me going like, "Hey, just to let you know, this is not like real." And
Yeah.
I was like, "I know."
Well, it's like, okay, so one of the ones that I want to be true, but I've never found a citation for it, is this insistent. So there's this meme that comes up every so often, of which they say, "Oh, elephants." They've done studies, and the way that elephants react to human beings is like how a human being reacts to a puppy or a kitten. They think we're cute. And
No
it's like,
way.
it's something I so want to be true because elephants are adorable. But I've never found a citation for it. It's like, don't give me this wholesome thing and then
Yeah,
tell me that someone just made it up. Like, don't make this like my finding out magic. Like, the whole, when you have to tell a kid, all the kids realize.
yeah. That's like,
Don't make this like that. My 30-year-old version of little less magic in the world.
yeah. I see what you. I mean, I think I've got this recently with cats, where I've read something about how cats think that you are their parent,
mm,
like their actual. And I remember having read that somewhere, and I was like, you know what? In one hand, I wish it's true. I don't necessarily believe it to be true, but
mm,
I wish it's true because it sounds beautiful, and that's precisely what I want from my kittens.
mm. I mean, to be honest, speaking from my own now, obviously, anecdotal evidence is not doesn't hold much in scientific discourse, to be honest, there will be scientific support of that. But cats do form attachments to their owners. My cat, when he lived, was very fond of me and would be looking for me after I left every time I visited. So it would be like parents would almost be like, any minute now, the cat's going to start looking for him and howling.
Oh,
And like, yep, there he. Oh wait, he's not done it. Oh, there we go. Bow!
nice. I
Scratch
love
at
it when
the
my
door.
cats do that.
So, and equally, but also, I think obviously it's more obvious in dogs, but then they tend to be more of a pack animal. Cats are more solitary in their nature. Also, cats are so cats are they're barely domesticated animal. They're not a domesticated animal like a dog or a sheep or a cow.
Mm.
Like kittens have to be handled by humans quite early on. Otherwise, their genetic code kicks in. It's like human equals danger.
Yeah.
Don't like that. What's that big thing? That big hairy monkey doing? Um, um, but equally, it's like the interesting thing about if you take pigs in the wild, it doesn't take long for them to them to start acting like wild boars because again,
Oh, I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, well, modern pigs are obviously we've it's in so if you actually so sometimes I'm dabbling in the history and it meant because I mentioned that it's just remind me like I watch a clip saying like a medieval pig or chicken is going to look a lot different to our present day pigs and chickens because of the way that we humans have genetically engineered them through selective
Right.
breeding. Like a medieval chicken is going to be considerably small to a modern day battery farm poultry chicken because we basically want bred the bigger chickens.
Yeah.
Likewise, pigs will have become tamer as we've bred them. Like
I see.
because we've selected
the bigger ones, so that you.
Well, no, with
again,
pigs we've selected the less aggressive ones as well, because pigs they are omnivores as well, and wild boars a wild boar can really fuck up a human being. Like people can die because of a pig.
Yes.
Like it's not just a cute little animal, because it's not. Pigs aren't, unless they're bred to be smaller, tend to not. They're not littles. They're roughly human size. That's why when they try to do things like when they've tried to do research and experiments in xenotransplantation, which is where the concept where you take animal organs and implant them into human beings, one of the main animals that they like to focus on are pigs, because there is a lot of genetic compatibility between humans and pigs.
Right. I have seen something about that, yes.
But also, pigs are also omnivores. Like, they're more than happy to chew on meat.
Give me 1 second. I gotta go to the restroom. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Do you want to put it on pause?
Yes. Oh, it's gone now.
Yeah, the other you's gone. But I was seeing double there. A bit. Admittedly, one of them was motionless. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I do not know what happened. I apologize.
It's technology. Don't worry about it.
We were talking about the pigs, yes, and the usage of pig. Because I think, wasn't it like a thing on the news a while ago about someone who, like, the first heart transplant of like a pig heart was successful, or the first one that was successful, or something like that?
I mean, I haven't kept track of. So I kind of my interest in that sort of xenotransplantation idea kind of sort of I haven't really thought about that since 2015, mainly because it's like a sort of a the sort of like it's probably not going to happen anytime soon sort of thing. Look from the professors and lecturers sort of thing. Or
Fair enough.
So I may have not, but also
I do take my news from Microsoft Explorer, so Internet Explorer, sorry,
which can be often very out of date, because it's like, oh, we need a story. This happened 10. Just go. Is anyone going to check it? No.
Well, sorry, go on.
But also, about checking things, because obviously I've had to do that quick check because I feel like I've got that term wrong for it's. I still wish it was Parliament of Baboons. Should be some kind of Parliament of Primates to describe politicians. It's. I don't want to be like one of those people that appear on podcasts. Like, so clip got shared. Got on my For You page, and it was Jordan Peterson talking to someone, some terrible American comedian. And I don't mean like American comedians are terrible. There's plenty of great American comedians. It was probably one of the ones like, I don't think I'm going to like that one. I get in a Joe Rogan vibe from them. So he was wearing like a Rat King t-shirt. So it was a rat with a crown. And he says, oh, he's interesting. He talks about... So this is the actual thing that a Rat King is meant to be. So it's meant to be a German... I think it's like German, but basically the idea is a bunch of rats clumped together and the tails get tied into a knot with each other. And that's a Rat King, when they're all sort of... Their tails are all tied together and they can't escape, sort of thing. And that's not an actual thing that actually happens. I think that's something sort of one of those things that someone's collected a bunch of rats and sewn the tails together, sort of thing. It's sort of kind of
Oh god.
that's more what actually happened. Like the actual event of that happening doesn't happen. It's sort of
Naturally, I mean, I don't see it how, because they don't have tails big enough nor hairy enough to. Anyway,
well, no, just the tails wouldn't like
yeah,
it.
wouldn't naturally stick together like that and like
Well,
make a
the idea
knot.
is that they interlock and with so many different tails that they can't,
Yeah,
and it's like that's bullshit. That's the actual what the Rat King is, and the reason why I found out is because I was watching an episode of Critical Role, and Matt Mercer did a boss monster that was the Wolf King, which was he took that concept and applied it to a wolf. Sort of thing. So a multi-headed wolf idea was what he was going for. But that was the inspiration. Anyway, but Jordan King, not Jordan King,
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson, yeah, looks this and he starts going the. And did you ever see James Bond's Spectre? Not Spectre, Skyfall. Skyfall.
I have seen them all, but I've seen Skyfall.
So it's when the villain explains to him on the island that if you take a bunch of rats, if you got like
yes,
the rats are eating all the coconut. So what you do is you just take a bunch of rats and shove them in the barrel, and at some point they'll start eating each other, and then you've only got two left. And then you save those two rats and release them into the wild because they don't eat coke anymore because they only eat rat. That's what Jordan King, not Jordan King, Jordan Peterson. I don't know why I'm saying King today. Why am I saying Jordan King?
I don't know. Maybe you read the Stephen King book, or
I don't know. It's one of those days where I think I'm just where I give someone slightly the wrong name, so I get the first part right.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind though. That would be a last name he would get on board with.
I mean, to be honest, the way he bloody acts, he's not respected academically much anymore. Not at least not in psychology, because he's full of shit. No, he's full of shit.
Interesting. But please finish, because I'm actually quite interested about the. So what happened with the Rat King T-shirt?
So yeah, basically that's the whole thing. Jordan Peterson thinks that the Rat King is the rats cannibalizing each other and then releasing them, and that the Rat King is the cannibal rat, not rats tied to each other by their tails. Like Jordan Peterson is the dumb person's idea of an intellectual, and he generally the man says things that sounds intelligent, but then you actually listen to what he's saying and oh, he's a fucking idiot, or he's just a what's the word? I'm looking for the word that it's an S sounding word that's like grifter. Schmooze?
Oh, I'm not sure. I was thinking about grifter, or I was thinking about like the opportunistic sort of vibe, because again, actually I have I'm slightly familiar with Jordan B. Peterson. Some of the stuff and I remember years ago he used to be like the shit. Like people used to used to be like, oh, well up for it. And I also know that I've seen some stuff where he kind of, and I think he might have said it himself, but again, I'm not quite sure because I'm not familiar with this whole genre of people. But I think there was this thing around COVID where he was like, you know what, he realized that there is a trend for being anti-establishment, which fits quite basically, which you can get a lot from. And that's pretty much what he went with.
The angle he's gone is he went with the alt-right, not the instead. So he appeals to very much.
Yeah, which again, I think there are different ways to go about that as well. That's for sure. But that's what I remember reading about, where it was kind of like, we're just going to, you gotta, again, like, that's the thing. We're living in a time where everyone has to, you gotta be like trending, and you gotta be on. You gotta get people talking about you, and the best way to get people talking about you is either that they love you or hate you. So if you say something that will basically go viral, whether it's right or wrong, or again, like, whether it's true or not or anything like that, as long as it goes viral, that's the win, because people talk about you, which kind of, it shows now that we talked about him. So again, I'm not for, but I do find it fascinating, because I do remember, like, I think years ago I've read the book that he was like very popular from him. I have read that, but like 9 years ago, I want to say.
Yeah, no, I think he's basically lost a lot of his credibility. I think, to answer, the real nail in the coffin for him, if it wasn't many years ago anyway, was he did the, and I have mixed feelings about it, because it's very much meant to be content and reactionary stuff, and stuff that they could chop up into little clips and put on TikTok and other social media. But he was on Jubilee, and it was meant to be one Christian versus 20 atheists, and they brought Jordan Peterson as the Christian, and he would not answer the question, like, are you a Christian and do you believe in God? He'd do the whole, well, what do you mean by God? And if you mean it, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no. And basically a couple of them, and those clips went viral, of them sort of getting angry, like, you just fall into what is a semantic fog of, you're just constantly trying to define things, and but you're not actually you have no substance. Like, it's
actually, I didn't know he was Christian. I didn't know he's like a practicing.
That's the thing. He doesn't say he is, and
right.
That's the whole why people got pissed off, and they had to change it, because they did. Right. Jubilee changed the title because people were like, is he? Like, because he doesn't say.
Right.
Like, he doesn't say that, and he just falls into essentially Jordan Peterson semantic fog. Like, well, what do you mean? Blah, 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 blah. Do you mean like this? Because if you do and it's like, man, just pick a lane and argue for it like you're supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah, which is fair enough. I think that's what you're meant to do there anyway.
So, like, the debaters were pissed off because they didn't get an actual debate. They got someone who just dances around the subject, which in Jordan, it works for Jordan when he's in podcasts and doing longer forms, and he has that ability to go on for hours and hours.
Yeah.
But in what is meant to be an actual sort of debate, quick fire, he falls fucking apart, and it's apparent. And he's basically, I think people were making jokes like he's a Schrodinger's theist or Schrodinger's Christian, like he isn't Christian.
That's quite funny, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like Peterson. Not a controversial statement. And if anyone has any issue with it, with me, let me know.
I mean, look, the thing is, I don't know enough to give an opinion on this. But I see the point, and also, like, one of the things I found quite fascinating, which is actually one of the things I struggle with, and again, it goes back to going like, I always or like I navigate, or like I find myself being like, even I don't know, politically or like social media like influence wise homeless, is because even I remember the story of someone very close to me. I don't want to give out their name, because I don't know if they wanted to for this to be said publicly, but basically someone that I know got in trouble for simply saying that they do not like Jordan Peterson. And then the offense that it took from that, they actually ended up with them almost like risking losing their job. And because someone took offense to it, which I found ironic, given the fact that at least the sort of from the outside, the way you see it is that, you're meant to be these people who do not take anything as an offense, or like they don't get offended necessarily by words, because they are the truth holders and the fact holders, and the sort of I'm gonna get
Offended for other
something
people.
gets hurt, yeah, or like something gets hurtful if I'm getting, I don't know, punched in the face, because I get physically hurt. Yet, like it was this whole thing, like a real man doesn't get offended or like upset by words, and then here you are getting upset by words and almost getting someone fired over the fact that they simply said
Oh, you're
that they
talking
do
about
not like.
right. So you mean the hypocrisy,
Yeah.
right?
I'm talking about this example. And that's where I was like, and again, like this happened years ago, and after I heard it, I was kind of like, this is, again, I found it too contradictory for me to actually go like, no, I'm on board with this. So that's why I'd say I still, from time to time I watch, or like some videos of him speaking and stuff like that would come up on my feed. I would maybe go through them, but I do not take things like, I don't take him to heart, because of the fact that I have the knowledge of how the same people who would say one thing, basically, yeah, I guess the whole not living by what you believe in, it's what feels ironic to me, in a way of, yeah, maybe it's not for me.
No, well, it's the lack of authenticity. Um, though I did see a funny clip that reminded me of the state of probably me and many people I know, which is, it was the advice I give to others on mental health versus my own. And sort of the advice you give to others, it's always, like the sort of standard, be kind to yourself, like self-care. And then it's like, meanwhile, my own mental health, let the skies burn and the stars fall.
Isn't
Sort of.
isn't that because because I have been told, I had this sort of like struggle myself, where the way I talk to people, and the way I tell people, I talk with people about like being nice to themselves and kind and looking after themselves and everything. It's advice that I do not follow. Well, I used to not follow at times, and I came to the conclusion. I can't remember, maybe because I read something, or I spoke with someone, or if I've even like listened on a podcast or something. But I came to the conclusion that it's apparently much easier to to give the advice to someone else, because you're not involved in that. It's easier to basically kind of like be an outsider and be, hey, look, it makes sense to be kind with yourself,
Yeah.
it makes sense to do these things. But then when now you have this sort of like, which I found conflicting emotions about myself, where in one hand I hate myself, in the other hand I want what's good for myself. That's where it gets harder to actually be the follower of the said advice, because again, it impacts you directly.
Yeah, no. Don't mind me. My laptop isn't charging, it seems, and it's saying it's low battery, and I've only just noticed. So just bear with
Oh,
me.
don't worry, you look for that charger, and
I'll
yeah, do not worry about it, we'll get it cut after.
I'll fix it.
Yeah, take your time, don't worry.
Do 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 do. technical difficulties.
That's okay, but you know what? Actually, as a side note, because I'll alter this anyway. But this is why I like this like long format content much better, because you don't have to rush through stuff. Because I used to, for example, like even earlier when I had to run to the loo, I would be like, oh, I'm just gonna hold it in for like 20 minutes, wrap it up, then go.
No, well,
And then you're losing a lot of. I think you're losing a lot of like nuance, and you're losing a lot, because you're like getting rushed by these kind of things. Whilst if you just pretty much like let the record run, and then you just talk, it's much more natural.
Yeah. Bastard thing. Hold on. God, I hate this laptop sometimes.
Why? What happened?
Oh, it's just it's one of those where it's not quite a secure thing sometimes.
All right.
Because it's a little bit more of a magnetic connection.
Yes.
And that can be very annoying at times because it's like it doesn't always want to work. And it likes to fail when it's least convenient. Basically, I've probably sneezed at something the wrong way, and well, we're still on 19% anyway. I'll figure this out as we go along, and I'll keep track of things. Sorry.
That's all right.
Right, we may have to just roll with it and adapt accordingly if it starts running out.
That's okay, because I've got to finish at 1 anyway. So we already recorded for an hour, by the way. And I've got to leave at 1 because I need to go to work. I need to get ready to go to work.
Yeah, that's fair. No, you did. You did say that.
But we can basically we'll go back into it now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask you about what you're doing comedy wise, and like what's the new show about, and we're gonna talk about that a bit.
All right,
and
cool.
That's it. What do you think?
Yeah, so let's do that.
Perfect. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I was chewing on a cookie.
A cookie? How dare you?
Well, technically a biscuit. It's a Florentine. Oh,
that's a fancy biscuit.
I work at the bakery now, so I get them for cheap.
Oh, you work at a bakery? You said.
Yeah, I do. Like I work part time, in a Jewish bakery around the corner.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
It's nice, yeah, because it's like obviously not the best money and all that, but it's good because at least it's it's around the corner. 2, I get discounted food and baked stuff. So actually, I spend a lot less in food. Yeah. So again, it works out well. And also, the problem is sometimes they don't give me as many hours as I want to, but they have very weird, like, you're either committed and they give you like 50 hours a week, or you gotta work whenever they need you. And I'd rather do the other one because I'm still hoping to get my career break in the next couple of weeks.
Good, we're back on charge.
Beautiful.
Right, I don't know why it decided, oh, no, you need to rotate the other way around. And
it's fine. It happens. It's annoying, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, technology,
which is actually going to be part of the discussion in the next show.
Well, 1 second. Let me get us back. And then okay, so Stephen, we're back. We've got this. We had some technical issues, which have been solved more or less.
Yeah.
Which again, I guess, like you said, it can happen. That's the beauty of remote recording. Actually, I guess it could happen in person as well.
No, it's happened. This year in Edinburgh, my speaker, which I've used since the pandemic, before the pandemic, it decided it wanted to die completely, like would not charge, on the day that Beyond the Joke came in to review the show.
Nice.
And it's like, thankfully, thanks to a mixture of my skill and ability, and I still scrambled a 3-star, but it's like that could have been a 4.
Oh no, man.
It's fine. Bruce is one of the lovely, nicer reviewers you can get at the Fringe, and he was like, it's clear he had some technical difficulties, and he handled it well, and I'd like to see him under better circumstances, sort of thing. Like, he very much seems to like me based on the review, but it's sort of like
nice.
If only just that fucking thing didn't want to die that day. It chose the worst day to die.
Man, what a way to go, though.
To be honest, I haven't done the
for the speaker.
Yeah, it's definitely a way for the speaker to go. Now I have a much bigger one, and when I do next year, I'll make sure to have a spare one just in case it ever happens again. But yeah, no. So technology.
No, well, basically, what I was going to ask you is, because we spent we talked about I guess just like life and random things for an hour.
What's happening?
But I wanted to make sure that which actually, you know what, that as well, the which I enjoy very much, and I love this kind of conversations, because you see, I don't plan for anything, and then when good stuff comes out, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. Anyway, I have planned something for this episode, which is basically, I want to catch up with you on the comedy side.
Yeah.
And I want to know, obviously you gave me a little bit of an insight of what's happened in Edinburgh this year, which, sorry, I laughed there, but it does. I mean, again, as an outsider, it's quite funny.
I mean,
on the day when you're expecting, or like when you have an important reviewer in, the speaker just goes like, nah, I'm out. I'm tapped out.
Yep. That was, there was so much drama for this. Like, I lost my slug mask, and had to adapt to finding some antennaries.
This is not the first time. Do you remember on the last podcast, the first one that we did, you told me about losing some other like piece of prep, basically. Not prep, because it's not prep. It's like the equipment. We talked about some lost equipment back then as well.
It most likely might have been one of the sort of clicker devices, which tend to be the ones that like to wander, because I've had to replace one of those recently.
Oh, God.
Which now we use a wrist-mounted one. It's got a new technical feature to it. It's called a strap. So it's.
But what I wanted to. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so no chance of losing that. I'll still probably end up losing that somehow.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be shocked either. So you wouldn't be Stephen Catling if you wouldn't lose the clicker once in a while.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask you is, what's the new show about? What have you got planned next?
So The new show is going to be called. The working title is Clownfish Out of Water, and I think obviously it's. I suppose I'll be reflecting on sort of the difficulty of trying to fit in society in general, but I think what I'm also going to end up reflecting on. So I think the initial idea was I was meant to call it Sloasis, and it was all going to be about this imaginary story about how I think my slug mask ended up in the Oasis concert, and Noel Gallagher wears it when Liam's not looking, and it's a whole drama around that. And I think I might feature that in the. I think I still have intentions to put that in the show anyway, because I like that idea until proven otherwise. But I think I'm gonna. So I'm seeing an increasing prevalence and rise in AI art and videos, and I hate it. And I think I need to talk about it. I think I need to talk about our relationship with, or rather, my frustration with AI art, and it's a danger to creativity for us in the creative professions, whether we're graphic. Mainly, I think the biggest threat it is to is graphic designers, but there's that whole thing with there was this whole farce around this AI actress, and Hollywood actors were kicking up in arms about. And it's like, or AI music, or it's like, and that all that is just an algorithm taking ideas and input that people put in and then stealing them like it's. So it's also going to be looking at that. I'm going to possibly reflect on my feelings on various burlesque theme type shows as well. Partly because I actually do like burlesque, and I've even one of my routines that I used to do, which I'll bring into the show, was burlesque inspired. And there's certainly things I've liked in that. But then, you've got this whole like Star Wars burlesque, which feels like sort of a bit of a cash grab on nostalgia, and
Yeah.
like I'm one to maybe have a go on this sort of social media's relationship.
How do you. Sorry, go on.
No, you were about to ask a question.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you is how do you navigate doing, again, like basically speaking about things that are so important to you and you've got feelings towards and you want to bring awareness to whilst also making it into a comedy show. And obviously you have the history of it. You've done it
Twice.
you've done amazing shows before, and you got like you won awards, and you but I'm just curious, how do you get to do it? Like, how do you manage to almost like channel that sort of, this is kind of like pissing me off, but here is an hour of good comedy from it.
Well, that I think part of the how is that you make sure that before any Edinburgh Fringe run, you do a lot of previews and work things out. Because the more basically, I think the more previews you do to more audience, which is why partly, even if you're quite new and you're only getting maybe 5 people, like whether it's 5, 50, or even 50 people, and that can really vary, especially as a less established acts, that is going to be part of the course. Sometimes you're going to perform to rooms of 30, 50 people, and then other times you're like, it's going to be 2 today, but we're still got to do it. But it's only by actually doing it and then airing it out and working through to get the equilibrium between the funny and the whatever the feeling is, whether it is a feeling of sadness, rage, despair, and getting a balance, that equilibrium. I generally try and so most of what I try and do is make sure what I'm doing is funny first. So the vast majority of the solo shows, I keep the sort of the more sincere bits one towards more the end. But I will probably establish themes earlier on anyway. But it's generally you want to build that rapport and trust with them before you start hitting them. But that's the thing. It's finding that balance for me in the surrealism, and then knowing when, which is not perfect. Like I'm still learning, and that's something that the reviewers have definitely. And I know that because the reviewers have said that there's still room for improvement because it's not always the most clean cut, so to speak. But they've said certainly there's been a fair few that said because of the surrealism and absurdism, it means that when I do get very serious about real things, it's going to hit a lot fucking harder because it's not. People don't expect it as much. Essentially, it's like an effective gut punch because it's sort of like a.
Yeah.
It's. Think of it like in the wild with various animals or plants where it's like, ooh, I'm a pretty flower, and the insect's like, oh, I'm gonna pollinate, get the delicious nectar from that, and then it goes on them. Or like the anglerfish has the light bulb. Well, it doesn't have a light bulb, but it has the bioluminescent. I'm not a marine biologist,
But I know what you mean.
but they have that so that the prey is like, ooh, light,
Yes.
and then it goes, grr. And it's sort of that sort of. It's effectively an effective ambush, and like I present, ooh, silly clown, silly, ha ha, daft, gut punch. You weren't expecting that. But it's not meant to be like a shock value. Like I'm not trying to do it in a cheap horror way either. It's because I'm also trying to be very sincere, but it can be hard. I think for the behavioral problems it was easier because it was less personal because it was a societal thing I was looking at as much as a.
I see.
While moving on was. It was more expansive in that it went more into mental health. It was also reflecting on two particular breakups. One that was with my more recent partner, which is we still have a relationship, we're still friends, and we still very much care for each other. But we're just not a couple anymore. And my another relationship that is that ended a lot less good. Very and left a lot of deep wounds for me. And I think, especially because the breakup with my more recent partner happened in the course of already writing and performing the show, because it happened in like March, it was also harder to write because I'm dealing with the emotional impact of some of those wounds reopening. But that's why it's important to keep previewing. And for me, I have one of my friends who's also a comedian, Phil Green. You know him?
Yeah.
So Phil,
I know I haven't met him personally, but we got one of my very good friends is a common friend, and I know of him a lot.
Just to be clear, Phil Green, the one that does the conspiracy theories podcast, not Phil Green, the one that's been on Birds Got Talent.
I didn't know there were two of them.
Technically, there's also the CEO that got done for some money laundering or something. So there's three
Right.
prevalent Phil Greens. So just to be specific, which Phil I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But generally, I usually consult Phil on things
Right.
and get his second opinion because he is a stand-up with inclinations to the absurd, while I'm a service clown that has inclinations to stand-up. So it's sort of that. Basically, it's me trying to get that Venn diagram of objectivity and say,
Yeah.
Phil, is this too far? And then he says, no, it's fine. Or like in one of the cases when I sent him the last year's, so this year's Brighton Fringe is like, the first half of the show is really good, but the second half, you need to tone it down because the audience needs to know you're okay. Because you go off the deep end a bit, and that's what Phil's purpose. Well, that's what Phil is there for when I do my solo shows. He's there to basically act as the rail or the safety rail or the leash, so that I don't go attack dog on everyone, because it's especially because both shows have dealt with very raw emotions of one was in regard more to ableism in the workplace, and the other is more to do with the just general fighting and dealing with depression, while also dealing with a very painful, very human breakup, which it was a surprise. I think in the first show, I had people and it was neurodiverse people are coming up to relate to me about it, their own issues, and they made their own little reviews on the Edinburgh site. And then this year there was the vast majority. There was some various people that, despite the advertisement, got the wrong end of the stick, and took a very literal misunderstanding of what the show was meant to be about. But the vast majority understood, and there was a lot of men that came up this year like, I've gone through similar or the same thing. In fact, one of the guys who was also a comic in Scotland said it was especially difficult because the venue that I performed in was where he had his wedding reception with his ex-wife. So it's like,
Wow.
I mean, thank you for coming, but
And was that like? I imagine you found that out. You found that out after the show.
No, after the show.
After the show, yeah. Okay.
At
least that. Because I guess having to.
One of the more surreal ones was so there was a biomedical science student at Edinburgh that came, and his name was also Stephen, and he had just had a breakup as well with a long-term girlfriend, and it's like, for him it was a very weird show because like, this is also a Stephen that's had a breakup, that's done the biomedical sciences, and it's like so it I mean, admittedly, I'm not trying to cater to specifically all the Stephens in the world with biomedical. I have a bit of a larger aim for my demographic. But it certainly is touching when, because.
But I also. Sorry, go on.
It is touching when people, both men and women, are coming to you to relate to you about the topics of your show, especially when you. In my case, I don't consider myself, and I don't market myself as a relatable comic. I am the outlier, the pariah, the outsider.
You see, this is what. Sorry, go on.
The modern Diogenes sort of going into another philosopher's. I think it was Plato. He went into his lecture with a plucked chicken. He was like, "Behold, a man," because I think it was Plato that described man as a featherless biped, and so what he did was he plucked a chicken. And it's like, by this
Called a
definition,
man.
this is a man.
But you know what I was gonna say is that I find fascinating, and I think perhaps this is one of the reasons why I love comedy is the fact that you know even things that you wouldn't expect to be relatable. Again, everybody can find it relatable to an extent, or sometimes, or in ways that you wouldn't even imagine before you start writing the show. Or
So
like even when you start, because I don't imagine, like obviously like you said, and I can't even imagine that you're not starting every show thinking, oh, there is gonna be a Stephen Biomed, who is going through
no,
a
no,
recent
no one could
breakup.
predict that. No,
You see, but yet again, that could be a relatable way, or someone can just be like, you know what, actually, I I see some of myself in you because of so and so reason, and I think that's beautiful.
I mean, as that's happened with both shows, that becomes more reasonable, and it's also led me more to the permanent belief that. So, I'm considering writing an article on this at some point, which is I've had two discussions with MC slash bookers that have shown some form of anxiety of me performing to older crowds because they think older crowd they're going to want more traditional. I think it's better that we describe traditional stand up as contemporary stand up because if we actually look in the grand schemes of comedy, stand up is actually quite new.
Yeah.
Um, and while it's certainly an influence to what I do, and is I am technically I'm a stand up, even though I haven't for many years described myself with that term. I think I would probably start using it to describe myself more again. Because when I do solo shows, there are more stand up bits. But both respective, like, so one, I was asking about another gig, and he's saying, I'm not sure because, this old crowd, and then the other one, and he had me booked on, and he's had other alternative acts booked, like, on before. Ones that I deeply love and respect, and, like, if they like them, they're probably going to be all right with me, sort of situation. But he's saying, oh, all the crowd were not sure, and then I do it and they love it. It's sort of like, here's the thing. I am many alternative comics, clowns or absurdists, or whatever description you want to give the various forms of us, haven't evolved from some kind of vacuum. We all come from somewhere, which is the human race, as well as our own little backgrounds. But equally, like, I cite Monty Python as a huge influence to my taste and styles in comedy. And the thing is, the fans of Monty Python who would have watched it when it was new will be my parents' age, who will be in their 60s, who are in their 60s. Likewise, other things that my parents that help, like Rick Mail or Vic and Bob or the Goodies. And if you go even a bit further back, you get Spike Milligan. Those people are still alive, and they are the older crowds. So it's like older crowds may very much like what I'm doing because it is reminiscent to
Of what they grew up with.
what they might have grown up with, if they like that sort of thing. Now, if they were more of the Roy Chubby Brown, Bernard Manning, those kind of comics, then yeah, nah. I get it.
But you wouldn't know that until you tried.
Well, yeah, no, exactly, and it's sort of my argument of like, it's sort of like
Interesting.
it's a difficult one because I don't want to say, do you know your audience really to promoters, but
But I also feel like that's it's almost like it's a risk that you can not even a risk, but it's something that you can do. It's I think it makes the nights more entertaining, and also especially when you put nights like this as a promoter, the audience pretty much knows that even if it's not for me in 15 to 20 minutes, someone else is going to come. That's probably going to be more up my street. So
what I
yeah.
will say is the promoter that did book me, that I essentially had this discussion, and bear in mind, like, he did book me, so obviously he had some faith it was going to go well. But obviously he put a newer act to do the opening that was a bit more contemporary, and then he had me on, and it's like, there's ways that you can manipulate it so that you can try it out, see if they like it, and it's like, all right, they like it, we'll bring them back to do more.
Yeah.
Like, there's ways about it, and it's sort of like, I've done like I've done gigs in like Middlesbrough and Saltburn where those crowds have been a bit more conservative and definitely probably would be less keen for that, but they'll relate more to me and be like, they'll find more enjoyment in what I'm doing, because even if they don't get it, they'll appreciate the daftness and say, an LGBT act talking about being LGBT in a more contemporary style, because they'll be like, oh, I don't understand that. And that's not a good thing. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying,
There is a precedent
like,
to an extent.
people oversimplify things way too much and think, oh, all the crowd, they're going to be like this. They're going to be more conservative. And to be fair, it's like there are reasons why we have these ideas. Like, yes, they tend to be more conservative. They tend to be less open-minded. They tend to be less LGBT or woke. But I think that's a really unfair assessment on those kind of crowds, because they're people. They can be as diverse as any. Like, you get plenty of younger crowds in cities that are supposed to be XYZ who can be far worse than that old.
Yeah, that's actually I was going to say. And it's
Like,
sorry to interrupt you. Sorry.
like
Continue.
Charlie Kirk was in his fucking 30s, and
Yeah.
he was alt right. Like, you're going to get people all over the political philosophy and spectrum, regardless of age, and it's an unfair assessment that, oh, they're this age group or they're from this demographic, they must be this, and it's like, it's not. The world's not that simple. Like, it's not that black and white.
I also, and again, I don't have the evidence to back this, but even based on like the again, this sort of like demographics and analogy is the fact that I found that even people who might not be, as you said, either they are left wing, right wing, woke, non woke, pro LGBTQ, anti LGBTQ, they can still distinguish, and they can still decide for themselves what's funny and what's not. And they can still, so that this is why I, and again, this is why I feel like this is why I feel like this is the almost the risk that an audience takes when they buy a ticket to a mixed bill show. They must understand, or like there must be an understanding that what, I may like some people, I may not like some people tonight. If I want to go and watch a comedian that fits my, say, like my ideological my ideological my ideologies, I will buy a ticket to a one-man show when I know the guy that's going to put on the show is going to be,
or like,
you know?
or you go and buy a ticket to, and I don't really want to endorse it, but you go and buy a ticket to Comedy Unleashed or,
No, but exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like there are ways to be, there are ways to be like, you know what, I want to do. Again, I want to almost like filter the sort of like ideologies of the people, the ideology of the people that I interact with. But ultimately, if I go to do a split bill, I think it goes the same way for comedians. Like I gig with people who I don't like. You know, I gig with people who I don't necessarily agree with politically, but it doesn't make a difference.
no,
I don't think.
Well,
Or it shouldn't make a difference.
it shouldn't, but I think what's also is we need to learn. I don't want to say we all need to learn to respect each other, because it's not as simple as that either. Because there are things like, if someone's saying transphobic or hateful speech sort of stuff on stage, you're gonna probably need to say something. Someone,
Yeah, but sorry, go on.
There's a difference between that and, oh, they do a style of jokes I'm not keen on. That's different, because vice versa, like,
Yeah.
I can appreciate good comedy from various different genres of the style, and be like, this isn't for me, but I can see why it's like, case in point, like, you see a lot of the crowd working comics that got really popular on TikTok, and it's like, to me, that sounds really boring.
Yeah.
And it's not exciting, but obviously, and I prefer something a bit more inventive and unexpected. But there's a difference between me that it's like my father, in his rare cases of wisdom, when he's actually, that's not fair. He's got a lot of, sometimes he has a lot of good ideas, but he has a lot of shit ideas in his head. But like when he talks about my grandparents, and they would say, "Oh, X and X, they can't sing." It's like, I can't, like, oh, Elvis couldn't sing. It's like, no, Elvis could sing. You just didn't like Elvis.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of comics, like, I might not find them funny, but they're not funny. They're just not funny to me.
To me.
Yeah. But I can see objectively, like,
Why
I
other
can see
people
this.
would find it. Or actually,
I think,
sorry, go on.
yeah, it's just something that, well, I think it's just something that any watcher of comedy or person who is involved in comedy, in whether they're the audience or performer or reviewer or promoter, needs to learn to sort of be able to dissociate themselves from and compartmentalize between, this is what I think and this is objectively what others might think. Like, these are not, and they're not necessarily the cross vendor. Ideally, everything comes in so that when you do what you do, or when I do what I do, more people like what we do.
But you said you hit I think the nail on the head there, where you said like more people would like what I do. Not all people would like what I do.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a, you know, you want the majority of the audience to like you. You want the majority of, you know, like, you want, again, not even like you, but like you want to understand you and to understand and to enjoy the jokes, to enjoy the humor. But yeah, it's I don't think there is anybody who fits everyone.
Well, it's sort of just like my annoying
just the way it
phrase, like when people say, well, comedy's subjective. I'm like, yeah, but like, people are
But it's still
popular for reasons. Like,
yeah,
those comics that we see on Netflix and Netflix or TV, or that do good club sets. Now, obviously, there's a lot of industry reasons why many good comics don't get their Netflix special or get on TV or whatever reasons. There's a lot of other factors like that to consider. But there is an element of, yes, comedy is subjective, but there's also like, there are things that are, I suppose, either you could phrase it as less subjective or more objective.
Even then, though, I feel like, again, comedy it can be subjective, but it's usually digested in a group setup. So unless this is the thing, like unless you're buying a ticket to watch a specific comedian because again you like that comedian, that's one thing. But then when we're talking about these sort of like comedy nights put on, by promoters with like mixed bills, then it's a given that some comedian might fit for one and not for the other, and vice versa, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, Stephen, I've had such a pleasure to talk to you for almost 2 hours.
It's a pleasure. Also, it's 1 o'clock, so you need to get ready for.
I've got to go to my day job.
Your bakery.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
No, thank you.
I had a great time.
No, I had a great.
Where do people? Sorry, I was going to say the last question was, and it always is, where do people find your work? Where are you most active? That's it. Yeah.
So I'm most active on Instagram, which also will have my link tree on for various festivals that I'm doing. So there will be a link to the Get Up Stand Up final, though I'm not sure when you're releasing this. So that might be a bit late depending on when you release it, but that's in December.
When is it? In December. Okay, we can do it beforehand.
I mean, if you've got other people that you've interviewed before, but that will be in December. That will be on December 20th.
Okay, I'll do it before.
And then we've also got in February in Leicester. We've got on the 15th and 22nd. I'm doing the work in progress of the new show, Clownfish Out of Water, and it will also be in Glasgow on the 22nd March, as well as some various other previews in either Leeds and Manchester currently, but that will obviously keep expanding until next August if we're going ahead with Edinburgh. But yeah, so generally Instagram is the best place to look for me, but obviously I still have use Facebook and Twitter occasionally for promotion, and we may be increasing the amount of TikTok.
Nice. It sounds like you're so excited by it.
Yeah, TikTok. Yay. We have to put the content out there, but we hate putting out the content on that.
Well, you having said that, I have deleted mine a couple of weeks ago because I was like, I'm done. I can't hack this, and I also don't have the intention to. But yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
It's just because again, I find like TikTok like totally like so much different from YouTube and Instagram and everything else and it feels like you must give it the time. But anyway, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Which is for a different time. But Stephen, thank you so much once again for doing this. I appreciate you.
No, I thank you. It's a pleasure
look after yourself.
Where are you based now, by the way?
London.
Still London, right.
Still London.
Right, well, hopefully I'll see you about. But if not, I mean, if you're looking to gig enough, I'm always happy to.
I will. We will speak because hopefully from next year, it's all depending on how finances are going. But I would love to. I haven't been able to leave London for gigs for a very long time, and I would love to go up north. And I'm also working on my own. So first, I'm trying to build my half an hour.
Oh, I did a competition recently with one of the guys, the Greek fella, that you did a four-way split bill.
With Nick.
Yeah, Nick. I just couldn't remember his full name.
That's all right.
And I
He's a
thought,
good guy. I love him.
no, he did very well. It was lovely to talk with him. But yeah.
He also works in the. He also works in the. Well, I think he works as a. He's also He's got a degree in psychology as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
we can probably exchange notes. Yeah, no, it's good talking, and yeah, get you go and make those delicious goods.
I am going to look after yourself,
You too.
Stephen, and we'll catch up shortly.
Thank you. No worries. Bye.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks for listening. It's always a pleasure speaking with Steven, and he's a great comic. So check out his work, and that's it. Any updates, I'll just post on my socials. From me, Pickle and Sarma, until next week, stay skillful and goodbye.